An example of a cable membrane installation, and the membranes are out of fabric, stretch fabric, and the aim was basically to show a little bit the effects of this installation within the exhibition.
We have designed it specifically to this site. It's site specific, let's say, and the content specific. So the aim was to test. This is one of the structural and architectural types that we're testing at the moment: membranes and tensile structures, membrane and cable net systems. So we've done a couple of earlier prototypes earlier on with some other projects. So for this exhibition, we have came up with this cable net membrane assembly strategy. This was more due to the fact that we could also test the effects and how the effects generated are actually explored within the space by the users. So we were also tight with the timeline and also the manufacturing limitations due to the funding and all these parameters. So this was actually a very fastly assembled piece, just with cable nets and the membrane patches, as you see, just as components, just a straight diagonal patch, just to test the effects generated, like such as the shadow cast, the light that is registered on the membranes, and the transparency, translucency, the views, and so forth.
Exhibition entry for the Prague, the Czech Library, the National Library in Prague, and the building is divided in three main programmatic volumes, and from the archive where the books are stored, and it's a kind of blind volume of concrete. There are two volumes spanning out. And the structure of these two volumes is developed. It branches out like a tree, referring to the symbol of the cherry in Czech Republic. And so the structure is grows out from the main trusses, and follows the distribution of stresses in the volume, really like a tree normally grows. So the main branches closer to the trusses are the larger part of the structure, while it gets thinner in the outer branches. That allows for a free landscape that to be used in the ground floor. And so reducing to the minimum the use of the ground, and also it allows for light penetration in the volumes, particularly in the areas that look out towards the city center.
As you know, Ocean is a research design network, and within this group we continuously take individual research projects and develop it all together. This is one of the projects. This is currently under development. It's called Complex Brick Assemblies, and how it's been looked at is over the 2 years is a development of a structural, and at the end, of course, an architectural design, a structural system that is newly being developed, if you like, through pre-stressed brick structures, and looking into its history, into masonry structures, and developing and taking that further onwards, looking into porosity within the brick without using the mortar, how we can achieve structural stability and surface structures, which is at the end a shell. So this is currently under development, and we'll continue working on that.
The World Center is our rhetoric response to the invitation of Mark's project to come up with a speculation about the New World Trade Center for New York. We skipped the trade and actually intended to give it back to the world and create not a monoculture of offices, but something that is much more diverse. We have a multitude of programs there. We imagine everything from housing, offices, hotels, conference centers, entertainment centers, even vertical ecological systems like vertical jungles that could develop over many years. It's actually really a vertical city that we imagine had a very big diversity. The project has been following us. The rhetoric has been very efficient, so we somehow never got rid of the project, so it reappears and people have had a very great interest for it. What more to say? There's a very interesting sort of design process which is seemingly partly random but planned within very strict frames. But it would be maybe too much to go into that for now. So,
strip morphologies is an assembly of components, in this case, as the title says, strips. The idea is to modulate acoustic, light, views and privacy within this composition of the strips. The strips were cut out of a flat material, in this case steel, and bent and put together, assembled with a welding. The whole thing, or the whole idea is that the components, they always follow a parametric setup and a logic, geometrical logic, but they morph according to its position and integration within the whole system.
The Vascular Music and Art Center is a project that brings urban space into an interior and landscape space into an interior. Much like the installation that we have made at the Prague, it is almost like walking into a park under the canopy of trees, which provide a very decent atmosphere, but it brings also the informal space of the street performer into the formal space of the institution.